Welcome to October, football fans. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm Logan Carney, bringing you today's matchup between the Kiski area Cavaliers and your number 7 ranked Plum Mustangs. Last week, we got to witness Lisa Reddington take home the homecoming queen and a Mustang victory over Norwin by a score of 33-0. The Mustangs got it done in every aspect last week as Corey Thomas threw 2 touchdowns, Nick Coxon had 130 yards, including a 97-yard touchdown run, and the defense put up their first shutout of the year. This moved them to 4-0 overall and 3-0 in conference play. The Mustangs will, of course, be led by former NFL player and now head coach Matt Morgan. The Cavaliers have had a different season so far. A couple of blowout victories against Greater Latrobe and Hempfield make up their 2 wins, but crushing losses to the hands of Pine Richland and Penn Trafford make up their losses. Last week, Kiski lost to the aforementioned Pine Richland by a score of 42-14. Kiski was leading 7-6 over the defending Whitfield champions after an 11-yard touchdown pass from senior Chad Kuhn to Deshaun Brancy. But Pine Richland followed that with 36 unanswered points on the way to victory. Today's game will be broadcasted from the old grassy Davis Field, and I'll be joined today by fellow students Dylan Fantone, Nolan Carney, Neo Fischetti, and the real deal himself, Mr. Rick Barat. Guys, last week's Mustang victory was due to everything going right for them. Nina, I'll start with you. What do the Mustangs have to do right this week in order to pull out a victory?
They need strong offense, Logan. I'm really depending on sophomore quarterback Corey Thomas along with Nick Coxon in the Wildcat. I really think Nick Coxon's running game is getting stronger by the week, just like you said last week. 131-yard rushing game plus a 97-yard return for a touchdown. I really do think that Coxon and Thomas, along with receivers Ashton Teeter, Patrick Crossy, I think they're going to be huge this game.
Nolan, your thoughts?
My big word, offense. We need to get our offense moving. We got to start off early, score a couple early touchdowns, get an early lead established. And as far as I'm concerned, Kiski's offense hasn't been as electrifying as other offenses we've played. So our defense should be able to handle that, and it's going to be up to our offense to get us ahead early in this game and to close it out.
Mr. Barat, your thoughts?
I totally agree with what Nolan and Nina said, Logan. I think Plum has to jump on Kiski pretty early. It's their homecoming. As Dylan gets a shot of their student section right now, you can see it is completely filled up. They're excited to be here, obviously, as it's camouflage night for them. And Plum is supposed to beat Kiski, and they were supposed to beat Norwin, and they're supposed to beat Hempfield. So Plum has to hold serve, and they need to beat the teams that are below them in the standings. Also, I have to say this, I want to see Patrick Crossy get a punt return for a touchdown tonight. He had several last year's to the 3-yard line or less. He's already had 2 called back. Patrick Crossy deserves a punt return. So keep your eyes on that. I predicted it. I hope he gets it.
Thanks, guys. Now let's get set for action. You're watching Plum Mustang Sports on the new home for Plum TV, the Plum Mustang Sports Network.
The Plum Mustang Sports Network and all other affiliates of Plum TV are not responsible for any injuries, spilled beverages, or dropped food that could occur in the duration of this broadcast, and advises you to eat, drink, and cheer at your own risk.
Thank you, Nino.
In the kickoff will, of course, be Jacob Chapla. Jacob Chapla broke a school record last week. Became the first kicker in Plum history to make 4 field goals in a single game.
Logan, it is windy all the way up here in the press box. How much of a factor do you think that's going to play in Jake Chapler's kicking today?
Well, he has one of the stronger legs in all of Whitfield's. He usually gets a touchback in every single one, so to see this might come up a couple yards short would not be a surprise due to the wind.
What a boot.
Well, that's a touchback, guys. One of the last times we were here, well, I shouldn't say one of the last times, probably a good now, almost 10 years ago. I remember Plum, Kiski took a roughing they had a roughing call against them, and Pat McAfee actually kicked the ball from midfield heading toward the opposite end of the end zone where the parking lot was, and put the ball through the uprights, out of the stadium, and into the parking lot. So be curious to see if Jake can challenge that if the cards fall right tonight, because he does have a strong leg.
In at quarterback is Chad Kuhn. He will throw and he will throw deep. The man beats it, and he will drop what would have been a touchdown. And a late hit on the Mustang defender, and there will be a flag, likely a personal foul, and that will hurt the Mustangs here early.
Number 9, Leighton Quao, cornerback for the Mustangs. Quao has had a very good year. Him alongside with near side cornerback Kevin Brown.
Nino, are you surprised with that call to come out of the gate doing a Hail Mary?
I think that's what they got to do. I think that's what they have to do.
Deep pass, yes. I think that's a very interesting play call. You know, start off early, maybe get a touchdown, start off the game, get the momentum on your side.
I think that exact play was a good idea. He had other looks. I saw he had at least 2 other open receivers, but I think the deep pass was a good call. You know, try to get it started. Ben and the Steelers offense do that with Antonio Brown all the time. I'm not going to be surprised if they try that more this game.
Oh, yeah, and then the cornerbacks lay, you know, it's always thinking, so you can run 10, 15-yard out routes.
Kuhn will toss it to the outside. It is number 5, Jonathan Bracey, who will get tackled about the 39-yard line.
Like a gain of 4.5, almost 5. I'm going to call it 4.
This will be 2nd down and 6 coming up, all on the 39-yard line.
From what I've heard, Kiski does indeed have a strong quarterback along with running back and all-star receiver.
You can see the 3rd straight play, guys running out of that pistol formation.
Chad Kuhn will hand it off to Bracey again. Bracey will get to about the 45-yard line.
He is no way at the 45.
They're marking it past the 45.
My apologies, that was Tariq Gant, number 6. He's their leading rusher on the year.
Okay, let's keep track. That
First down, Kiski.
Horrible call, number 1. Was he not short, Nolan?
He looks short from up here, Mr. Broad, I'll tell you that.
Chad Kuhn in a quarterback in shotgun. He will throw. He looks to the outside. He will scramble, find no one, and he'll be sacked behind the line for a loss of a play. That was number 62, Christopher Erfurt, who got to the quarterback first. This will be a loss of about 4 on the play. This will be 2nd down and 14. Ball on the 41-yard line coming up.
Every single play this far have been out of the pistol formation. I wouldn't be surprised if they use that the whole game.
Yes, as we say pistol, we know some teams call it a wildcat. You know, it doesn't matter where the quarterback is pretty much in shotgun.
Chad Kuhn will hand the ball off to Tariq. Tariq up the middle will get nowhere on that one. Looks like it'll be a loss of 2 on the play.
This is exactly what Kiski does not want to be in against this Mustang defense, guys. They don't want even 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 7. So to have 3rd and 15, it's going to be difficult for them to convert this first down. So we'll see what if Plum comes out in a base defense, or if Coach Morgan and Coach Coley will call up some sort of dial up some blitz here.
Kuhn steps in. Under 10 minutes now here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 15. Still no score. He will throw. He looks to the outside. He has his man. He'll be caught. He'll juke out defender, and he'll get back to where this first down was originally played.
Gain of 5.
That was number 8, Tavian Harbison on the catch.
Might not have been the best decision to throw that ball near the sideline, Logan. I saw a man open midfield. Very well could have hit him. Now we have 4th and 9.
Possible Pat Crossy punt return for a touchdown here.
And it's a good snap. The punt is up. It is a small kick, and it'll go out of bounds.
Obviously, Kiski's well aware of Patrick Crossy's return capabilities as they slice that punt right out of bounds. Actually, not much of a net gain, guys. The referee's at the 32-yard line, so only a 28-yard punt. We'll see what Corey Thomas and the Mustang offense brings to the table.
So the Mustangs will start this drive on the 32-yard line. 8:51 remaining in the first quarter. Still no score. Corey Thomas in at quarterback, 4 wide receivers out. Patrick Crossy will go over to the other side. There's a snap. Corey Thomas will throw. There's a flag on the play. He will throw downfield, and he will just barely overthrow. That was Ashton Teeter, the intended receiver.
Teeter burned the cornerback on that play. If Thomas would have just placed that ball a little bit before, put a little bit more arc on it, I believe that would have been a huge play for the Mustangs.
Got an illegal shift penalty, guys, on the Mustangs, so that play was coming back regardless. That should move Plum back. Well, Kiski could decline it, and they are going to decline it, so they want the down, and so it will be now 2nd and 10. So thought process is Plum's offense decently explosive. You'd rather have 2nd and 10 than 1st and 15.
2nd and 10, ball still on the 32-yard line. Looks to be now in at quarterback is Nicholas Coxon. A Wildcat set. He will keep and he will run up the middle. He will break a tackle. He will stay on his feet. And he will get the first down.
Boy,
like
Nick was a, I'm sorry, Logan. I was just going to say Nick was a bull there. He had contact probably 2-3 yards into that run, and he gained an additional 7.
So it'll be first down, ball on the 43 now. 8:38 remaining in the first quarter. And if you're just joining us, still nothing on the scores. This is the Mustangs' first drive of the game.
Ashton Teeter wide left. Patrick Crossy.
Ashton Teeter with
right.
one man on his side.
Yes.
That's dangerous.
Corey Thomas will hand it off to Kevin Brown. Brown will looks like nothing. Looks like they're going to give him a yard, maybe.
Kiski's defense doesn't look like they're aware of Ashton Teeter and the threat that he brings to this offense. He's fast, he's tall, he's got good hands. I certainly hope that Plum sees this and that they will utilize Ashton Teeter on the sideline.
I think you're going to see a lot of that now, Nolan. I think that Plum has run the ball so successfully. I would put 8-9 guys in the box and have the quarterback throw it deep to Teeter, Crossy, whomever, and have them try to beat you one-on-one.
So Nicholas Coxon will take the snap. He will keep, and he'll get tackled immediately, and the ball is
Fumble.
loose. We'll see who has it. Kiski saying they have it, and this is, yes, Kiski ball. So an unlucky break for the Mustangs here on their first drive of the game. It's Nicholas Coxon, one of the better running backs on a very deep team, fumbles the ball, and Kiski will start their drive on the 43-yard line. So
I would have liked to see a pass play there, Logan. I don't know about you. They seem to have established the run. They established the threat, the fact that they could run. And as me and Mr. Barad had mentioned, it seems like they were unaware of the threats that we had at wide receiver.
Chad Kuhn in at quarterback. 7:38 remaining in the first quarter. Nothing to score. He will hand the ball off. There's number 1, Lincoln Clayton.
Maybe 2. Maybe. He's 2nd and 8.
One thing Nino mentioned earlier is Kiski does have a very good quarterback, very good running back, and a very good wide receiver. Lincoln Clayton plays both running back and wide receiver. He's a 4-year starter. And of course, Chad Kuhn, 4-year starter at quarterback for him as well, and Tariq Gant is leading the team in rushing so far this year. Chad Kuhn will hand the ball off. It is Lincoln Clayton again. He will get maybe 3 on that one.
You know what, guys? You might see also, this could be 4-down territory for the Cavaliers. I mean, it is 3rd and 6. I mean, if they run it, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a run and it gained 2-3 yards. 4th and 3. Too short of a field to punt. You could be thinking this could be a run and then another run. Don't be surprised.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun, and he will throw. He will scramble out of the pocket, and he will get the first down as he runs into the ref. And the referee makes a huge stop for the Mustangs.
Still first down there, guys.
They will give him the first down, but it's easy to think that he could have got a couple more yards, maybe even more, if he did not run into the referee. So it'll be first down. Ball will be on the 32-yard line. 6:14 remaining in the first quarter. Still nothing. Just the second drive of the day for Kiski. The Mustangs forced them to punt on the first one. And Chad Kuhn will be in shotgun once again. Lincoln Clayton moves to the left. It'll be a pitch. That is number 6, Tariq Grant, who will get tackled. Maybe a yard on that one. Yes, they will give him a yard, so the ball will be at the 31-yard line. 2nd and 9 coming up.
High praise to this Mustang defense. Their line has been doing really well stopping the inside run. You see an outside pitch there. Looks like some guys back came up, helped recognize the play, made a big play. And it really shows that the Mustangs are a force to be reckoned with when you're running the ball, Logan.
Chad Kuhn steps in at quarterback in shotgun once again. He will fake the handoff and instead hand off to the outside wide receiver, who will break a tackle, shake off another man, but then get tackled. And the ball is loose. They will roll him down.
Patrick Rossi, he was like, he's all excited. He had that ball, trying to tippy-toe away there. So overdue for a touchdown.
That was Cameron Turner on the carry.
We might be seeing again what I mentioned during the last set of downs, guys, for the Cavaliers. Might be seeing, could be potential 4-down territory depending on what Kiski does here on 3rd down. As we have it, we'll set the table for you. 4:40 left to go here in the first quarter. 0-0, 3rd and 15 for the Cavaliers.
Chad Kuhn in. That was a loss of 6 on the play. He will throw. He throws across the middle, and it will just barely miss the intended receiver. Number 16, Jack Kaliks.
And Kiski, they don't even waste any time. They bring out the punt unit, and they will punt the ball. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the punter just punts it straight to Pat, hopefully thinking Pat will take a fair catch and Plum will start inside their own 10. I'm sure that's the thought process here.
And the punt is up.
No,
they will go to the outside. We'll take a Kiski bounce inside the 10-yard line, and it will be down at the 7. So the Mustangs' second drive of the game coming up. It is a tough one. Ball starts on the 7-yard line with 4:23 remaining in the first quarter. Still nothing, your score.
I'd like to see the Mustangs on this drive, Logan, pass the ball more. I'd like to see a little less run, 1st down, 2nd down run, 3rd down pass, 2nd down pass. I'd like to see them, see what they have at quarterback, test out the secondary, test out the coverage, see their strengths, see their vulnerabilities, really hit up Patrick Crossy, hit up Ashton Teeter on that end there.
See Corey Thomas in the quarterback.
Poor, weak coverage on the left side.
Back looks to be Jaleel Bay. He will hand it off to Bay, who'll get up the middle. And it looks like they're going to spot him down at the 13-yard line, so a gain of 6.
From up here, I'm thinking play action. Play action. Run the fake, obviously fake the run. We got men on the outside. Nobody's covering them. Play action pass, get a deep throw, see what happens, test your luck. That's what I'm thinking later in the game.
This will be 2nd down and 5 now. 3:46 remaining in the quarter. Corey Thomas will hand the ball off to Bay again, and he will get a couple of yards. They will spot him down at the 16-yard line. So we will have 2nd down and 3. 3rd down and 3, my apologies, coming up.
I think it's actually a little closer than that, Logan. Looks like 3rd and 2. See, Ashton Teeter just came out. I think they're going to, Mustangs going to their jumbo package here. I'm just going to try to pound it.
See Nicholas Coxon in at quarterback. And he will run to the right. He'll get hit.
I don't think. I think he's a yard short, guys. He only got a yard.
Yeah, it looks like they are going to spot him a yard short, so it'll be 4th down and 1.
You can't consider going 4th down here. You got to punt. Have to punt.
Yes, and we see Jake Chappell in the punt unit. Trot onto the field with 2:39 remaining in the first quarter. Still nothing.
Kiski here. This is a great start for the Cavaliers right now. They're able to hold Plum twice, and now they're going to get the ball back at midfield.
Feels like the wind is blowing towards Kiski. And it'll be a high snap, and it goes to the back of the end zone.
It's a touchback.
That's a safety.
So there is a safety. The high snap by the Mustangs, and Kiski will take a 2-0 lead here in the first quarter. 2:16 remaining in the first quarter. And of course, with safety rules, they will get the ball back immediately. And that is an unlucky break for the Mustangs. The second one of this game. We saw the fumble earlier on what looked like a promising drive. I put Kiski at their own 42-yard line. So the Mustangs defense held them from scoring. And now we see a high snap. It's the Mustangs. Kiski score first.
I mentioned earlier in the game, Logan, at the start of the game, the wind. Obviously, we're up high. We're on the press box. We're getting worse than the field. But if you look at the stadium and where it lies, it's sort of in the middle of a hill. You get all that wind blowing. Looks like the wind's blowing up. It's blowing to the Kiski student section side. And that punt would have been going with the wind. Would have been a good punt. Would have been a far punt. I'm interested to see how the wind plays a factor. And certainly Jacob Chaplow is used to kicking in the wind. Plum Mustang field on that big hill. So we'll see how the wind plays a part of this game.
Well, if Jake's able to put this in the end zone from the 20, he might be signing with the Steelers after this game, guys.
Especially after Scobie's performance last game, Mr.
Yes,
Barra.
so this will be this is obviously, unless this goes out of bounds, we'll get to see one of the, for the few times this year, Plum's kickoff coverage.
Here this Kiski student section start to get pumped up. Jake Chaplow will kick off, and this one will go to the 15-yard line, and it will be returned. That is number 2, Ross Grease, who will get to the 42-yard line. There's a flag on the play.
I think we're going to have a personal foul penalty. That came in late, guys. Seem to be some extracurricular activities against the Kiski Cavaliers. We'll see if I'm right. If it is, that will nullify a really good return, and Kiski will have a 2-0 lead. It looks like at their own 25-yard line instead of the 40. We'll wait for the referee to make the call as Dylan has the ref straight on in the camera here. He's pointing towards the Kiski. The umpire is pointing towards the Kiski sidelines. Wait and see for the call. And they are marching it back. Personal foul against Cavaliers.
They're going way back.
Yeah, well, it was play. I think he returned it, Nolan, to the 40.
Yes.
So they'll move it back to the 25. So believe it or not, that's a huge break for the Mustangs. So almost no harm, no foul now. So this will be the worst starting position. Well, second worst. Kiski started the first drive on the 20. So we'll see what the Cavaliers start off with here.
Look for the deep pass as they did to start off the game, similar field position.
Yeah, they're going 4 wide receivers, guys.
No.
And Chad Kuhn will fake the handoff, and he will keep it. He will get to the middle. He will stay on his feet and fight for mostly about an inch short of the first.
Logan, it
does not look like he has. It does not look like he has the first, but they are going to give it to him.
We always talk about Plum special teams, how good they've been. If you recall, 2 games ago, the special teams actually had all the points for the Mustangs. Now 2-0, they're scoring for the other team. It's interesting to see how that works out.
Kuhn will throw.
The one-on-one pass once again.
Wide open. That was number 9, Gracie, who will be just out of his reach. Like Nino said, this is the second time they threw down that way. They got a 15-yard personal foul penalty the first time, but he did overthrow his man also in that one. So 2 huge breaks for the Mustangs on those plays. So you see 2nd down and 10, ball on the 35-yard line with 1:35 remaining in the first quarter. Kiski leads at 2-0 on the high snap by the Mustang special teams. that went into the back of the end zone for a safety. And it'll be a handoff, and he will get tripped up. That was number 85, Zachary Nolan, who got in there and tripped up Tariq Gant. And there's a Kiski player down on the field, and he is in pain.
Now, guys, I kind of agree with the Kiski play call so far. I mean, they're throwing it deep, so that means the corners and safeties can't crowd the box for the Mustangs. They have to come back. And this drive here, they've gone 3 or 4 wide receivers, spreading Plum out, and the quarterback sneak up the middle. So they're keeping Plum guessing. It's not like when Plum comes out in their Wildcat with Nick Coxton. Nick's not throwing the ball out of the Wildcat, and you know it's going to be a run, but Plum is so physical and so good up front, they can physically move people. Kiski's not at that stage yet, guys, but boy, oh boy, they are keeping Plum on their toes. So it's aggressive play calling, and obviously it's working because Kiski's held the ball longer than Plum, and they've moved the ball better than Plum so far. We're almost at the end of the first quarter.
And that is number 65, Cameron Micah, their starting center.
And it looks like
he's hobbling over to the sideline.
I hate to say it, guys, but they're holding his right arm, the trainer. Don't know if they're holding it because he's struggling walking. He's limping to the sidelines. He's out of the camera view now, but we can watch him where we're at. And he's going to the bench. He's limping, so he either has a stinger. He's trying to walk it off now on the sidelines, but Kiski has a new center in.
So Ryan Kuhn will not start in shotgun here. He will throw outside. That is number 5, Jonathan Bracey, will get tackled. I'm sorry, knocked out of bounds at the 45-yard line.
It's a gain of 8. That's another first down for the Cavaliers.
57 seconds left remaining in the first quarter.
Looks like they might be spotting him short. You see the Kiski coach.
No, they're calling for the chains, guys. Calling for the chains.
All the way out of the other side of the field.
Yes.
Taking a little bit of time.
And we'll see if they give him the first down here. Kiski players motioning first down. There will be a first down. So first down and 10. Kiski's on their own 45-yard line. 57 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 2-0 lead for Kiski. Again, they got the safety, the high snap.
And with the new center, guys, we saw the quarterback go under center.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun.
Now he's back to being in shotgun.
He will hand the ball off. That is number 5, Jonathan Bracey. Will get up the middle. He'll be a couple yards short for first down. So the ball will be at the 47-yard line. You see first down and 2 as the clock keeps on ticking. I wonder if they might get a play off here as we get under 30 seconds. And Kiski is taking their own time to get to the line. And it looks like they will not attempt another play. So at the end of the first quarter, your Mustangs are losing this one 2-0 on the safety.
Logan, before the game started, you were telling me about how good the offensive line has looked for Kiski throughout the season so far, before the season, and I'd have to agree. They're running the ball. They're not afraid to run the ball. They're running the ball with passion, with force, and it's really proven to be useful for them thus far. They're not afraid to throw the ball either, as we've seen, completely blowing our secondary away. 2 possible touchdowns, quarterback overthrew on 2 different occasions. But they're not afraid to throw, they're not afraid to run, they're keeping Plum on their heels. They don't have the best offensive weapons, but they're certainly, some would say, out-coaching Plum's offense thus far.
Nolan, you mentioned the wind being a factor. This is the first time that the Mustangs have played on a grass field this year. How much do you think the difference between playing on grass instead of turf makes for this Mustangs?
Well, as you know, Plum is a turf field. We also have a practice field that is grass, used for soccer, football. They've been practicing on the grass field quite a bit this game. Obviously, Jacob Chapela practicing his field goals on the turf because that's where the uprights are.
And Chad Kuhn will get the snap, and he will do a great fake and keep it. Fooled everyone except for a couple players on the Mustangs defense, and what a great fake. And that is a huge gain that will put Kiski at the 31-yard line, the Mustangs' 31-yard line.
As I was
first down and 10 with 11:51 remaining in the second quarter.
As I was saying, Logan, we saw Plum practicing on the grass field this whole week. You can tell Matt Morgan that's something he did consider. I think the players will not have an issue with playing on a grass field today.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun now. And he will pitch it to Tariq Gant, who will get up the middle, and he will get, it looks like he might be at the first. And we're going to give him a yard short. So it'll be second down and 1. Ball will be on the 22-yard line. 11:11 remaining in the half. 2-0 Kiski. Second down and 1. It says third down on the scoreboard, but it is actually second down. Chad Kuhn will pitch it again. And Gant will get the first down. He will stay on his feet, and he will break a bunch of tackles and carry a couple Mustangs defenders all the way to the 10-yard line. And what a run by Tariq Gant.
Once again, excellent play call on the offensive part. Second and 1. You don't get the first down, you still have a third down. They're trying the outside run, shake things up a bit instead of forcing it through the inside, trying to pound out a couple yards. Obviously, that's what the Mustangs were expected. That's why such a big gain was had on that play.
So first and goal now, ball on the 10. He will pitch it to Grant, who loses the ball. And he looks like he recovered it. So an unlucky pitch there, and it will cost Kiski, luckily for them, only a yard. So it'll be first down and 11. My apologies, second down and 11. With 10 minutes remaining in the half. And he will fake the handoff now, and he will throw. And he will make a great juke for Mustangs defender and just barrel into the next guy and get, looks like maybe 5 on the play.
If you look at the right side, Logan, you have 2 Cavaliers walking back with 1 Mustang. I saw 1 Mustang trying to cover 2 players. Plum with the blitz at the right time restricted the quarterback in his vision. He couldn't quite see in the right side of the end zone. Plum got real lucky on that play.
So third down and 6 now. Ball on the 6. Chad Kuhn will keep, and he will run, and he will barrel his own guy as he goes into the end zone. He knocks down his own lineman, and now Kiski will have an 8-0 lead, bearing an extra point.
Assuming they're kicking the field goal.
Here now, the line moves in. It looks like they will be kicking the field goal. It's number 17, Nicholas Bashiglia, who kicks it up and it is good, and it goes into the Kiski students section. And there's a souvenir for a lucky fan.
I'll tell you one thing, Logan. If you would have told me 9:15 left in the second quarter, Kiski would be leading 9-0, I would have said you were crazy. But Plum's offense has been less than stellar. They haven't established a run game that was worth looking at. They haven't passed the ball as much as I think they should have. And I really believe that if we get the passing game more in our offense, that we will see better results, keep the defense on their toes, out-coach Kiski, and we will not have a problem coming back from this 9-0 lead.
9:15 remaining in the half. Kiski now leading it 9-0. They got their first 2 points on the high snap and went to the back of the end zone. It was a safety. Of course, you saw them drive down the field there as Chad Kuhn, their quarterback, 4-year starter, barreled his own lineman and went into the end zone. So now we will see number 17, Nicholas Bischiglia, kick off.
Ashton Teeter back to return this kick.
Interesting that it's not Patrick Crossy. It will be Ashton Teeter, and the kick is up, and it is short. And the Mustangs will catch it. That is number 8, Nicholas Coxon. He will get down and almost to the 50. So the short kick puts the Mustangs in great field position. And Nino, how important is this drive coming up for the Mustangs?
I think this drive is crucial to the game. I think that Corey Thomas is going to have to make some big moves. I think that he's definitely going to have to rely on his running game, which we have a great combination. But I really do think we're going to have to start passing if we want to get anywhere this game. We've only thrown maybe one pass this whole game, which was an incomplete pass. So I really do think passing is going to be huge. I think that's the only way we're going to march these 53 yards. 4
wide receivers. You see 3 closer to us. Corey Thomas will throw, and it will be caught by Ashton Teeter, who will break a tackle and get the first down. They will spot him down at the 40-yard line, so that will move the chains. It will be first down and 10 on the 40 with 8:59 remaining in the half.
See, just what I said. I think passing is going to be what will get these Mustangs points. I really do think that Thomas and Goodland have the arms, and we definitely have the receivers. Running is going to be a huge part, but I really think passing is the way to go right now after being down 9-0.
See Ashton Teeter line up closer to us now. Corey Thomas in shotgun. He will fake the handoff to Jaleel Bay and will get tackled for loss. The ball came loose, but they will roll him down. So we spotted down at the 41-yard line.
Poor decision on Plum's quarterback. That was what looked like a read option. Should have handed the ball off there. Logan, looks like running back had a lane. Could have gotten maybe 5-6 yards. Instead, gain of 2, 3. No, loss. Loss of 1 on that play.
This will be second down and 11. Approaching 8 minutes here in the half. 9-0 Kiski if you're just joining us.
As you can see,
Corey Thomas still in shotgun. He will throw, and it will be tipped by Kiski defender. And some extracurricular activities between a Plum and a Kiski lineman.
A comeback is such a scary route to run. If the quarterback does not notice the wide receiver turning around soon enough, a corner or a safety can easily jump that, and there is usually nobody on the side where that happens, so that's a pick 6 every time.
This will be third down and 11 now. Corey Thomas in shotgun.
I think that's Jaleel Bay behind Thomas.
Ashton Teeter lined up over here. Patrick Crossy in the slot. And they will throw. He will keep it, and he will get nothing.
Logan, I have mentioned in this game thus far that Ashton Teeter looked alone on the right side. Wide receivers have been looking alone. This drive, Kiski, realizing Plum would come out passing, has double stack, double up on the pass game, put less focus on the inside rushes. You can certainly see that as Ashton Teeter, Patrick Crossy covered tightly, having to run was the quarterback. Certainly Kiski is coaching really, really well thus far this game.
So fourth down and 11, ball in the 41, and we will see a punt here by Jake Chapla. And it will be a short punt. It will bounce to the 31. And it could have been the wind. We mentioned that it was windy. It could have just been a poor kick, but nonetheless, Kiski starts with good field position on their own 31-yard line. Interesting to note, you see the soccer lines on the field. Kiski no longer uses this as a soccer field as they built their own one. Me and Dylan got to play on it. And Dylan, man, is it nice.
Dude, it's really nice. It's a really nice soccer field. I like how they had the nets behind the goal, so if you missed it, but they never had them up whenever you played.
Dylan, believe me, knows a lot about missing shots.
Hey, come on, man.
Chad Kuhn will toss it to the outside.
Hit hard.
He will get maybe 3. But Kiski, one of the few schools out there that has their own soccer field. Now, their football field, one of the older ones, Davis Field. Mr. Brott told me earlier that this used to be a minor league baseball field, which is why the student section stands are like as they are. There's be 6:30 remaining in the half, and they will hand it off. Be a loss on the play, loss of about 5 it looks like. So it'll be 3rd down and 11 coming up. And they will spot him down at the 30-yard line.
Yes, Logan, 3rd down. What are you looking to see, Nino, on this 3rd down play?
I'm definitely looking pass. I think Crossy and Coxon are going to have to be prepared. I think that Brown is being paired up with that one-on-one. You definitely are going to see a deeper route ran right there.
They will throw.
Look at that.
Will throw deep. It is number 3, Deshaun Bracey, the intended receiver, but he will throw over his head yet again. The Mustangs getting lucky 3 times tonight, as Chad Kuhn has not been able to hit his deep man. So we will see the punt, and Patrick Crossy will go to the return. The number 17, Nicholas Bashiglia on the punt. 4th down 11, ball in the 30, 5:40 remaining in the half, 9-0 Kiski.
Pat Crossy back, returning this punt, as opposed to Ashton Teeter returning the kickoff. Patrick Crossy is back.
And there's a snap, and it is up. And it is a long one, but he will wave the fair catch. He might have been able to return the one, but nonetheless, Mustangs will get the ball on their 35-yard line.
You know, Logan, this has been a very defense-oriented game. A lot of people will tell you, oh, this is boring. There's not a lot of offense going on. But I think it's exciting. I love watching good, hard defensive matchups take place. It's exciting, the action. Lots of special teams play thus far. Real defensive matchup. Exciting stuff we're watching right now.
I think the Mustangs are definitely going to have to try to get a deep pass down. As you see, they are trips over on the near side. I think Corey Thomas is about to make a great pass.
Corey Thomas will keep it. Empty backfield set, as we saw.
Look at that deception.
As you can see, Ashton Teeter appeared to be almost alone on the right side again. I do not like that decision.
Look at that
Corey
deception.
Thomas. Lone in the backfield, 5 people lined up.
Here's what I don't understand. We have made probably 3 passes this game, and out of the 3, we've completed 2 of them. Passing is definitely being our strong suit, and I think all 3 attempts have been to number 23, Ashton Teeter, alone again on the outside.
And they will hand the ball off. There's number 7, Jaleel Bay. There's a flag on the play. Jaleel Bay looks like he might have got a yard, if anything, on that one. And will be holding against the Mustangs, so that will push them back even further, as we have 4 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the half.
Awfully chilly here tonight, Logan. One of the first real cold nights that we've had this year, this upcoming fall. It really feels like football weather. You know what I mean? It really feels like we're watching a high school football game in the fall. We got the student section homecoming night for them. We got flags flurling. We got people jumping up and down. This is exciting stuff we're watching right here. Really fall weather.
This will be 2nd down and 19 for the Mustangs. Ball in the 26-yard line. 4:43 remaining in the half. 9-0 Kiski. The ref was signaling to stop the clock. They will stop it, and then they will start it again. Corey Thomas in shotgun. He will throw. And it will be a long ball. He has Teeter, and just out of reach for a speedy receiver, Ashton Teeter. What a throw. Just barely out of reach. And like Nino said, they should be attempting more of these throws. As that one could have been a huge play for the Mustangs.
Not much of a spiral on that ball as I watched it soar through the air, Logan. Little, you know, flying around. Not very spiral-like, for lack of better terminology. That could have affected Ashton Teeter as he went to catch that ball.
Teeter alone again on the near side of your camera, ladies and gentlemen. I really do believe that passing is going to be the key.
Corey Thomas will throw. He will scramble to buy some time. There's a man there. He will get past, and he will get to the outside, and he will get tackled. And there's maybe have gotten a yard as we see the punt units trot onto the field.
Look, I have a question. Do you think that the way that the Mustangs are playing right now, there is going to be any way that we are going to get any conversions, any yardage, any way into the end zone?
Well, I saw a similar game to this last year. It was against Hempfield, I believe. And the Mustangs were getting blown out up until the 4th quarter, where they put up 3 touchdowns, I believe. And that will take a Mustang bounce. So if the Mustangs can figure out the weather, the grass field, and the Kiski defense, which, judging by how Kiski has played against the better teams in WPIALs, shouldn't be as hard as it looks right now, then they will definitely put up points in this game.
Logan, it is only 9-0, not even going into the second half quite yet. Mustangs definitely are still in this game, definitely have a chance to come back, make it their game. Their offense really needs to step up, though. Their defense hasn't been playing as well as we thought they would be thus far, but their offense is definitely what needs to step up going into the second half, maybe even closing out this quarter.
Defense has not made many mistakes besides that lone drive. Chad Kuhn will keep. And again, we see the defense coming up big, as he will get nothing on that one. Actually, they will give him 1. Didn't look like he got anything from up here. In fact, he will get up a yard behind where they're spotting the ball. But nonetheless, it will be 2nd down and 9 coming up on the 34-yard line as we approach 3 minutes. And even though it is just a yard, Kiski has been getting all the good spots so far in this game. It's given them a couple of first downs, and that could be a huge factor going forward. Chad Kuhn in shotgun. He will hand the ball off. It was Tariq Gant, their leading rusher, who again, they will give him another yard, although it looked like he didn't get anything on that one. And another generous spot by the referees. So we will see 3rd down and 8 now. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the half. 9-0 Kiski if you're just joining us. Kiski got 2 points to start this game early in the 1st quarter on a high snap on a punt that went into the back of the Plum Mustangs end zone before capitalizing their last drive for a touchdown. Chad Kuhn will throw. There's a Mustang defender right there, and there's a Mustang defender right on his receiver. It was number 24, Zachary Kay, who put pressure on Kuhn. And we will see 4th down and 13. So we see the punt unit trot onto the field for Kiski. 1:53 remaining in the half. Just at 9-0. It feels like it's larger than that, but it is not. Won't be that hard for the Mustangs to get back in this game. All they need is a quick touchdown or even just 3 points on the leg of Jacob Chapla.
Yes, Logan, Mustangs calling a timeout, preserve the clock. They're going to have a minute and 53 to drive down the field, get a field goal, perhaps even get a score, maybe get a big play on the pass. Nino, what do you think going in on this drive for the offense the Mustangs playbook should be?
Nothing but passes. The way that I see it, I think Thomas should stay in the pistol or the shotgun formation. No wildcat for me for this drive. Let's see how the Mustangs can handle this little under 2 minutes. Let's see if they have a good 2-minute drill.
Patrick Crossick back to return. Nicholas Bashiglia on the punt.
Real nice time for Patrick Rossi to get a return here.
A low snap, but the punt will get off. Patrick Rossi will not return it, and it will be downed at the 32-yard line. My apologies, 37-yard line.
Let's see if the Mustangs can take it 63.
It'll be a minute 45 on the clock as the Mustangs start this drive on the 37-yard line. 1st and 10, 9-0 Kiski. You see their famous marching band start to get ready to come out for the halftime show. We'd like to invite you to join us for halftime, as you will see the Plum Mustang marching band first, and then a very good Kiski marching band behind them before hearing our halftime report.
Logan, the Mustangs are going to have to get at least to around the 35-yard line to give Jacob Chapla a chance at getting a field goal here.
This will be 1st and 10, ball in the 37. Corey Thomas in shotgun. 4 wide receivers out. They will throw. He has Teeter open, but he will not throw. He will scramble out of the pocket and buy some time. He will run up the middle and get to the 40-yard line. The clock will keep ticking as we get to a minute 30 seconds here.
Logan, that is not the play that Plum needed right now. We had Ashton Teeter on the sideline open. Maybe you don't get the first down, but you get the ball out of bounds. You can stop the clock.
Minute 14 remaining in the half. Corey Thomas in shotgun. And he has Teeter open, and Teeter will run to the outside, and he gets by the Kiski area defenders, and he will get into the end zone for a huge touchdown. Unbelievable.
Ashton Teeter using his blazing speed, breaking past 3 people looking to get him down before the end zone. Marvelous fast. That's what Plum needs. What a confidence booster, Logan. Going into this second half, only down 2 points.
Corey Thomas with the great pass to Teeter on the long slant. I'm telling you, passing is the way to go for this game. Once the ball gets into Teeter or Crossy's hands, I think they can do the rest against this Kiski secondary.
60-yard touchdown throw as Jake Chapla's extra point is up. Good, and it will go over the fence and into the street. So there are no nets on Davis Fields, one of the older ones in Whippeal. 9-7 now, and like we mentioned, it felt a little bit dramatic, but the Mustangs quite easily are back in this game on a 60-yard touchdown from Thomas to Teeter. What a play. 53 seconds remaining in the half.
53 seconds, Logan. You know what I'm going to say? What I'm going to say is Mustang defense. Mustangs cannot allow Kiski to get on the board. Cannot allow making it 12-7. Cannot allow Kiski getting another score. This is a very crucial drive for the Mustang defense that so far has not allowed many mistakes.
With 53 seconds, there's 2 things that Kiski can do here. They can, of course, run the clock out and take a 9-7 lead into halftime, but they do have 3 timeouts remaining. The Mustangs have 2. So if they want, they could attempt to drive down this field.
Also, Logan, going into the second half, the Mustangs do receive.
That is a very good point. It could sway Kiski to try and drive, and it will be rolled, caught in the end zone. His back foot was in the end zone. One thing interesting, the last time Nino and Nolan joined us up here in the booth was at North Hills, and we saw the North Hills return man have 1 foot in the end zone on pretty much everything, but they did not roll a touchback. They did there, and it looks like it could have easily have been. Actually, no. It looks like they will roll. His knee was down.
That's what I saw from up here, Logan. His knee was down. Beautiful kick by Jacob Chapla. He had to go down to get it. If I were him, I would have let it go by me. I would have let it been a touchback. Poor decision on his behalf. Down at about the 9-yard line.
So now it looks like they will have to run it, as they do not want to get a safety for the Mustangs to tie it up. And yes, they will run it to the outside, and he will get tripped up at the 10-yard line. That was number 5, Jonathan Bracey. We've seen mostly him and Tariq Gant so far in this game, as the clock is now ticking to about 30 seconds. Neither team will use a timeout, and it looks like Kiski will attempt to run the clock out and take a 9-7 lead into halftime. Nino mentioned the Mustangs will receive, so it could be a huge drive coming up at halftime. My apologies, after halftime. That can not only put the Mustangs up front by a significant margin if they get a touchdown. And Chad Kuhn on the keeper, it faked me up here. He's been very deceptive with that so far. He'll get to the 20 and the clock will tick out. And that is the end of the first half. To recap, Kiski got a safety to take a 2-0 lead. Then they got a touchdown on the run by Chad Kuhn. And then we saw the Mustangs 60 yards passing touchdown. That makes your score 9-7 Kiski in halftime.
Kiski playing a very conservative side of the ball that last drive. They know that the run hasn't been working too well thus far. They didn't get to the sideline. They didn't stop the clock. They didn't want to take a chance deep, risk the interception. They ran the ball. They let the time run out. Smart play calling yet again by the offensive coordinator.
So for the first time of their season, we will see the Plum Marching Band perform on a grass field. After that, we will see the Kiski Marching Band, and then we will give our halftime report. 9-7 going into halftime. Stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to present the Plum Mustang Marching Band. The band is under the direction of Mrs. Bethany Lloyd, accompanied by Assistant Directors Mr. Joe Joyce and Mr. Brandon Miller. Color guard instructors are Samantha Passarelli and Christine Allen. Dance team Systems by Chad Heine, Joe Scheller, and Anthony Palmasino. Drum majors are Casey Mayer, Elizabeth Postal, and Steven Scacero. This evening, please sit back, relax, and enjoy some selections from this season's competitive show entitled Origins.
Ladies and gentlemen, this season marks the 54th year of service that the Davis Field has given to the Kiski area school district and our surrounding communities. And to commemorate that fact, we're continuing to remember some of the history and the highlights of the historic Davis Field this season. Davis Field is 85 years old this year, and with a grandstand that once was the home of the Philadelphia Phillies minor league baseball farm team, named the Banneker Pioneers. The Pioneers won 2 Mid-Atlantic championships in the late 40s. Before the Kiski area joined here, it was the home of the Banneker High School Athletics. They won 2 WPIL baseball championships right here in 1948, 1949. Then in 1958 and 1959, they added 2 Section 10 WPIL champions. On the gridiron, the Davis was the home of the 1946 Banneker High School Blasters, who ended 9-1. Finally, with a loss to New Kensington High School at Forbes Field in Pittsburgh. 1947 team ended the season with 8 wins and the Westmoreland County Championship. The 9-1 season in 1958 with a loss to Tanny kept the high school Lancers from qualifying for the football WPIL championship berth. Next week, we'll visit the storied history of the Davis Field after the Kiski area joint just started in 1962.
It's like it's darker than my basement out there. Like there's no way it's just dark. I didn't punch. I just pulled it down and put it down. I didn't really cook it. We're not cherries though. And you know you should went to the freaking Italian factory. No, I got the stats on the phone. Can you send me them?
No, I mean, you guys can do the stats. You're the color commentators. You're supposed to see your stats.
I called Sarah like 10 minutes ago.
I have a 50-50 ticket, 50-50. It's worth $373.
Mr. Brock,
Some time to get your ticket. It's a yellow ticket
Mr. Brock, 50-50.
worth $373.
I did find some cards though.
found fun. That's
Okay, here we go. Yellow ticket. The number is 490.
I mean, it was fun.
Alright, guys, let's get on. Alright, so what's the name? I'm gonna read it this day, history, Hey, are you
Nolan, you got snapped, right?
The football boosters, thank you.
And we're back as there's 2 minutes remaining in halftime. You saw great performances by both marching bands. And it is a chilly October day, so chilly that they ran out of hot chocolate here. And now it's time for our halftime special, starting with today's birthdays. First one, Gandhi. Everybody knows who he is, a civil rights leader. He passed away in 1948. He was born in 1869. One of the more inspirational people in all of history. Phil Kessel, Penn's hockey player, Newly acquired Penn's hockey player, he turns 28 today. Tyson Chandler, NBA player, turns 33. TJ Yeldon, a rookie running back for the St. Louis Rams, turns 22. And one of my favorite comedians, Brian Regan, turns 58 today. Today in history, the first black justice of the U.S. Supreme Court, Thurgood Marshall, sworn in 1967.
That's an important date in our nation's history for sure.
In 1968, St. Louis pitcher Bob Gibson struck out number 17 in World Series in one game against the Detroit Tigers as an MLB postseason record. And Guinea gains independence from France in 1958. That was what brought the Cold War to Africa as they sided with the Soviet Union. And now we'll turn it over to my colleagues in the booth, Nino Fischetti and Nolan Carney, who have the stats from the first half.
Yes, Logan, as you could have seen, very lopsided. As far as time of possession, we had Mustangs at 6:13 and Kiski at 16 minutes and 54 seconds. Penalty yards, Kiski committing 1 penalty for 25 yards, Mustangs just 2 penalties for 25 yards as well. Punts versus average, Kiski with 4 punts averaging 29.8 yards. Mustangs with 2 punts averaging 26.5 yards. Kickoff return yards, Kiski with 2 returns for 29-yard average. Mustangs 1 return for 16 yards. Nina?
The Mustangs have also went 2 for 5 on completed passes, while Kiski went 3 for 7.
Nicholas Paschiglia about to kick off.
Guys, just to point out again, Ashton Teeter back to kick off. You expect Kiski to kick it short as Ashton's already up at the 15-yard line.
And it will be short, and it will be to Patrick Crossy, who will get the return, and he will get tripped up by Ashton Teeter. And they bumped into each other. Looks like more Ashton bumped into Patrick Crossy. Patrick not happy. The Mustangs will start at the 27-yard line. So we see 1st and 10, 11:56 in the third quarter, to see the first drive for the Mustangs coming up.
So Logan, what's big right here is definitely going to be the passing game. I would really like to see what Corey Thomas is going to do this drive. How many times he hands the ball off to new running back in the game right now, Nick Carlisano.
Corey Thomas will be under center. We see 2 wide receivers line up opposite of your screen. Corey Thomas will hand it off to Carlisano, who will get a big break, and he will get knocked for a couple more yards. It looks like they might spot him for the first down.
Logan, we talked about in the first half the underutilization of the passing game. We have some statistics here. Ashton Teeter with 72 passing yards. Granted, 1 long for 60, 12 yards other than a long 60-yard pass. Ashton Teeter with 1 touchdown, though.
The only touchdown in the game for the Mustangs. Teeter is looking like he's going to be very important in this second half.
Corey Thomas under center, Nicholas Carlisano the back. Thomas will hand it off to Carlisano, who will get a couple of yards. It looks like he will be spotted down at the 40-yard line.
I think the way Nick runs, guys, he kind of runs like the bus. You know, he's a bigger guy. When he falls forward, he gains like an extra yard or 2. So as we start the third quarter here, you see the Mustangs not coming out and passing at all. They're down by 1 score running, as we have a little mini rainstorm going on here right now. A little shower coming at us here in Vandergrift as the Mustangs have 2nd and 7.
Corey Thomas in 2nd and 7. He will hand it off to Carlisano again. He will get a couple more yards. So it'll be 3rd down and 5. And the referees have been very generous on this drive. We've seen them generous towards Kiski in the first half, and now they're being very generous for the Mustangs. And I even believe on the first down that the Mustangs got on this drive, it looks like up here that they might have even been short, but they didn't bring the chains out, and they just gave them the first down.
I think this is a long 5 also, guys. It's almost like a short 6.
So see 3rd down and long 5, as Mr. Barat stated, 42. Where the ball is on. Corey Thomas in shotgun. He will throw. He finds Teeter, who will get hit, and the ball will come loose.
Logan, alarming stats of the first half. Mustangs 12 carries for 20 yards, averaging 1.7 yards per carry. as opposed to Ashton Teeter, as we mentioned, with 72 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Really makes you wonder what the offense has been thinking and what they will be thinking going into the second half, hopefully leaning more towards the passing game, as the statistics and the numbers do not lie in the first half.
You know,
Guys, if we're gonna have this rainstorm, you need to be careful here with the handling of the punt and the receiving of the punt, because the ball is wet.
you will wave for the fair catch, and it will be at the 26-yard line is where Kiski will start the drive. And now, Mr. Barat, me and Nolan talked about this earlier. How does the grass field come into play when looking at the Mustang stats so far?
The grass, I mean, not really that much. I mean, this is Kiski's home field. They've played here a couple times. This might be the only game Plum plays on the grass, so it's a little bit slower, which will negate someone like Ashton Teeter. So I don't think it plays a whole big difference, but plant foots for kicking, that affects Jacob Chappell a little bit.
And it will be a fake. Kuhn will keep it. Again, we've seen them fake the handoff and let Kuhn keep it. You can hear the wind start to pick up as Nino is starting to hold my mic so that the wind will not get onto the broadcast. But it is a very, very different weather today as we've seen in previous games.
Well, also, guys, we should be thankful there's a canopy over top of us.
For sure. We'd be holding
huge.
Umbrellas up the rest of the game.
If we were at North Hills, I wouldn't be liking this environment right now.
We'd be in bad shape.
So Kuhn will hand off. There's Tariq Gant, who will get to the 34-yard line. So we see 3rd down, and looks like 2 coming up. Oh, no, it looks like they will spot him down at the 40. So, nope, the line judge was wrong. So it will be at the 39-yard line.
No, actually, Logan, the 34.
34. My apologies.
I get to the 36, so it's 3rd and 2. I would be shocked if this is a pass. So Plum still staying in their base defense as they come with a run blitz.
And that was
the wrong holes there, guys, as Kiski's able to squirt through and get a 1st down.
We mentioned Tariq Gant coming into this game was their leading rusher. We have the stats here. He had 68 attempts on the year for 358 yards. That's good for a 5.26 average on carry. And he is doing it again so far on this drive. 9-7 here in the 3rd quarter. 8:24 remaining. 1st and 10, ball in the 36. Kiski leads it. Kuhn, he will throw. He will get picked off. It is Kevin Brown who will run down to the opposite sideline, and he will he will break the tackle, and he will stay on his feet and get tackled at the 40-yard line, and a huge interception.
Fighting for every yard was Kevin Brown.
Number 5, Kevin Brown. It's been a huge running back. There's a player down for Kiski. It looks like is number 4, Noah Clayton.
Logan, in regards to the grass field that we're playing on, it's raining not too hard, but hopefully it doesn't mud up the field, doesn't provide less traction. And as I have said earlier, Jacob Chappell practicing on the turf, as Plum's facilities do not have a grass with the uprights, the field goal posts. So as Mr. Broad had mentioned, that will play a part in Jacob Chappell's kicking. But as of right now, it hasn't been too much of an issue for Plum's kicker, Jacob Chappell.
You see Corey Thomas in shotgun. He will throw, and he will keep it, and he will get a couple of yards. He will stay on his feet and get tackled at about the 36-yard line. Kiski's 36, I might add. 7:50. You see 2nd down and 6 coming up.
Now I saw Patrick Crossy with his arm open. He was wide open down the middle of the field, guys. And it'll be interesting here if Plum's able to get a 1st down. I think you're in 4-down territory, even though there's 7:30 left to go in the 2nd quarter. Plum down by 2 to the Cavaliers. I think you got to get close, real close, to even give Jake a chance. You can't take a chance with the rain and the conditions for a 35-yard field goal.
And he will hand it off to Kevin Brown. Brown will go to the outside, and he will get tackled, and that will be a loss on the play. So we get under 7 minutes here remaining in the quarter. They will spot him down at Kiski's 41-yard line. So it'll be 3rd down and 11 coming up.
You know, are you surprised to see the Mustangs going with the run game so far?
I'm very surprised because the amount of success we've had with the passing game has been incredible. As you said, Teeter with a 76-yard touchdown. 60-yard touchdown with another 12-yard completion. I really just think that they should definitely go with the passing game more often as you see trips on the near side.
Corey Thomas will throw. He has numbers number 85. Zach Nolan will get tackled immediately. And that will be a short gain. We'll put them at the 36. So
I think you go for it. I think you go for it. A punt doesn't do anything. It's too far under these conditions to kick. But I disagree with you guys. I think you're going to see, if that Plum's able to get a first down, the rain's going to dictate. You can't throw the ball all over the field in a rainstorm. You know, we're not Tom Brady, but I'm actually kind of shocked here as Plum's lining up for a field goal. This is a 53-yard field goal attempt.
And there's the kick. It is up. It has the distance, and it is no good. It had the distance, just barely missed. So remain a 9-7 lead as Kiski will take the ball here at the 36-yard line. Kiski's 36-yard line.
I give Coach Morgan credit. He went for it, but with what we have to remember with the high school rules, because that is no good. Kiski's going to start at the 20. So if Plum punts the ball there, and that's different than it is in college and high school, they would take over at the 36. So that field goal being no good, it's the same thing as a punt in the end zone. So I think the weather conditions, guys, dictated Plum not going for it on 4th and 6 to give Kiski the ball at the 36.
And it will be a toss back. He will throw, and he has a man open, and it is caught. In an unlucky break for the Mustangs. As it was a toss back to number 5, Jonathan Bracey. And instead of running the ball like we've seen him do, he will throw. That was number 8, Tavian Harrison, who will catch an 80-yard touchdown. We've seen Kiski go through with the deep pass a lot early, especially on first downs. And for the first time of this game, they will capitalize, and now they look to take a 16-7 lead, bearing the extra point.
Logan, I don't think that was as much unluck as it was 1 out of 4 times. Kick is up, it's good. As I was saying, 1 out of 4 times they convert on the deep pass, blow past the secondary like they did. They got lucky the first 3 plays. You can't let that happen 4 times. You can't leave a man that wide open, especially after you've been seeing this on first down, nearly at the 20-yard line almost every time. Without seeing a play like that, that was almost bound to happen eventually, Logan.
And as the Kiski student section is tossing people up on their shoulders, the Mustang fans are stunned as Kiski now has a 16-7 lead on the much favored number 7 ranked Plum Mustangs. So with 5:25 remaining in the 3rd quarter, you see Nicholas Bashiglia come out to kick off. Ashton Teeter will come out to return. We've seen them go short every single time here.
Well, guys, I was going to say, sorry to interrupt, Logan. Plum's going to need some breaks. Kiski's able to kill the clock. We're down to 17:25 left in the game, 5:25 in the 3rd quarter. Plum needs 2 scores. So they're going to need some luck, whether it's a kickoff return for a touchdown, a deep pass for a touchdown. They have to move the ball, and there's some urgency now in the offense of the Mustangs.
And it will go through Patrick Crossy's hands, but he will pick it up and he will return. He will get a couple nice blocks and stay on his feet. And he's going down the sideline. He will shake off another man. He's going to the opposite side. He's going down past the 40, down to the 30, the 25, the 20, the 10. He will run through a man and get into the end zone for a huge touchdown. And the Mustangs are right back in this game. It is a 3-point lead, possibly 2, bearing the extra point. And Mr. Barat has talked about it. We've been waiting for Patrick Crossy to get a touchdown. There was not a flag on the play, and a huge, huge play for the Mustangs. 16-13. Jacob Chapla coming out for the extra point. 5:08 remaining in the third quarter.
Boy, oh boy, I wish you all could see the look on Mr. Barat's face up here in the press box. Mr. Barat with the biggest grin, calling it, saying that it was going to happen. It does happen. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a fun ride home for Mr. Barat.
He so deserved it.
Right now on his phone it says OMG Pat Crossy. That was a huge play. The extra point is up and good, of course. It will go over the fence again onto the street. 5:08 remaining in the third quarter, and the only thing that separates the Mustangs is that 2-point safety at the beginning of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you saw on your screen was Pat Crossy go from your side of the field on the 50, cut all the way over, and get an easy touchdown.
Now we will pause a couple seconds here for station identification.
This telecast is copyrighted by the Plum Mustang Sports Network for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the expressed written consent of the Plum Mustang Sports Network and Plum TV is strictly prohibited.
Thank you, Nolan. Comcast Channel 23, Verizon Channel 30. That is what we are broadcasting on the Plum TV network.
Well, last time I said there was 17:25 left to go in the game, 5:25 in the quarter, 17 seconds later. It looks a heck of a lot better for the Mustangs, right, guys?
Mr. Barat, I see students over in the student section for Kiski without shirts on. It's freezing. They're jumping up and down. They might be putting their shirts back on after that play. Maybe some of their momentum and their excitement has left, and they will have to bundle up.
Well, and I'll say now as a dad, there's no way my child would have no shirt. We're up here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're frozen to the bone right
We are frozen.
3 layers on
shivering.
for me.
Jacob Chapla with the kick. What a boot. Go into the end zone for a touchback. Like I said before, the Mustang fans were speechless, but now it is the Kiski student section that is speechless, and the Mustang fans are cheering on their team. It's 16-14 as Kiski will take the ball at the 20. 5:08 remaining in the third quarter, and the Mustangs now have all the momentum after what it looks like they lost it all.
Well, guys, you erased the last 30 seconds or so of the game, and we're right back where we were. It was 9-7, now it's 16-14. So Plum will need a defensive stand here to see if they can roll with the momentum of Patrick Crossy's ginormous kickoff return.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun at quarterback. He will hand it off, and this time they will not have the running back throw it. That was number 6, Tariq Gant with the carry.
Logan, using hockey terminology here, the plus minus for the special teams is at 5 right now. They gave up 2 points on that safety, as you can see. They've always been good. They've always been great. They're showing what they have. They're recovering. Lots of momentum for the defense. Hopefully we can transfer that into momentum for the offense. Get a big score here.
Chad Kuhn and at quarterback, the wind picks up. He will roll out to his right, and he will throw, and it will be caught at his number 5, Jonathan Bracey. We've seen him a lot on the run game. I suppose that was actually number 4, Noah Clayton.
But I hate to say it, guys, but Zach Nolan slipped coming around the edge there. That play is not complete, or at least he gets pressure on the quarterback to hit that ball. So bad break there for the Mustangs. Good play by the Cavaliers, though. Roll out the quarterback. So it's a gain of 8 or 9, and they're at the 31-yard line with 3:50 left to go in the third quarter.
First
up 16-14.
1st and 10, 3:50 remaining, 16-14. It'll be a handoff, and he will be stopped behind the line for a loss on the play. There's number 6, Tariq Gant. Knocked behind those Eric Trends.
I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead, Nina. So were you saying no, Logan? Go ahead.
It was Eric Trends.
No, I was going to
stop
say,
behind the line. His helmet falls off, so he will have to come off for a play.
I don't think Plum's made any adjustments, but these 8-9 yard runs that Kiski had in the first half have now been limited to 2-3 yard runs. And again, big stop on first down, which puts Kiski almost in a passing situation.
So 2nd and 11, they will run again to the outsides. And a huge hit is number 6, Tariq Gant. Just barrels right through Kevin Brown, but he will get knocked out of bounds.
3rd and 2.
So it'll be 3rd down and 2.
Logan, I agree with what Mr. Broad said. What was those really big plays on the inside of the Mustangs defense is now being shorted up by a very large amount. I think the inside backers are finally starting to realize that the inside running game is very important to the Cavaliers, so now they're tightening up on the linebackers, starting to blitz those A-gaps more.
Yes, which Nina is why you saw that with that sweep there to the left side.
And Kiski will take a timeout. 3:04 remaining in the 3rd quarter. 16-14, Kiski leads. To recap what has happened so far, Kiski started out of the gates with a 2-0 lead on a high snap that went into the Mustangs' end zone. They then would score a touchdown as quarterback Chad Kuhn will run the ball into the end zone. We mentioned he barreled over his own lineman to get to the end zone. That put them up 9-0. And then, of course, the Mustangs would then capitalize in the 2nd quarter with a 60-yard touchdown from Corey Thomas to Ashton Teeter. And now here in the 2nd half, we've seen a lot early. A huge 80-yard touchdown for Kiski. And then we saw Patrick Crossy return the kick immediately following that for a touchdown, and now it's a 2-point lead.
I didn't get the yardage on that guy. Guys, it was at least 95 or 90-yard kickoff return by Pat.
Corey, my apologies, Chad Kuhn in a quarterback. He will toss it back, and it is Tariq Gant who will shove off the Mustang defender and get to the outside and get the 1st down. Looks like they will roll him out at the 49-yard line, so it'll be 1st down and 10. The ball on the 49. 2:58 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Still 16-14. And the Mustangs defense looking to come up with a huge stop on this drive.
I think what Kiski's trying to do, guys, they've been running the ball here. I think they just want to get in the 4th quarter with a lead. Kill the clock, kill the clock. As soon as I say that, they pass.
Chad Kuhn will throw to the outside. That was number 1, Lincoln Clayton, one of their 4-year starters, along with Kuhn. He'll get tackled. It will roll him down at the line, so it'll be 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Actually, looks well like here, guys. Sorry, they've done well on 1st down, which was a problem in the first half. As Kiski was gaining 3, 4, 5, 6 yards, they've limited them on 1st down to a yard or 2. It's the 2nd down plays now. They've been getting huge hunks, especially the last 2 2nd down plays. So it'll be interesting to play call here. And they've been usually running to the wide side of the field. So if this is going to be a run, it would not shock me if it comes right at us.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun now. There's a snap. He will hand it off, and it will go up the middle. He will get nothing. Tariq Gant will get hit immediately as he gets to the line. So it looks like we will see 3rd down and 10 now. Under 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. 16-14 lead for Kiski. The only difference being that early safety. And it looks like the Mustangs defense might be coming up with a huge stop here.
3rd down, 11.
3 wide receivers, trips to the left.
Chad Kuhn going shotgun. He will throw. He will keep it, and he will run past the line. He get hit a couple of times, but get tackled. Nonetheless, they will spot him down at the 45-yard line.
As you can see, Logan, Mr. Brought was completely right. They're running them to the outside. If they're not running them to the outside, they're passing. They have realized that the inside game is now over due to the running backs just completely, the linebackers just completely stuffing the inside in between the center and guards. They're definitely resorting to the sweeps, and they're definitely resorting to the short outside passes.
Kiski going for it here, guys. Or at least that's what they're lining up to do. There's 15 seconds on the shot clock, so they got plenty of time.
Plum caught off guard as
Chad Kuhn, they will do a quick kick, and that will, looks like it might, no, it will go into the end zone. It almost looked like it would have stopped on the 1, and of course we saw number 9, Cameron Turner, almost stop it at the 1, but nonetheless the Mustangs will get it at the 20 on the quick kick by Chad
because
Kuhn.
as soon as he quick kicked it, Patrick Crossie came running up, which you don't want to kick it to Pat, obviously, or Ashton Teeter. And on the grass field, what's the ball going to do? It's going to stop. But unfortunately, for the Plum's sake, it just rolled into the end zone. Or that could have been 1st and 1. Or 1st and 10 at the 1 for the Mustangs.
Mr. Broad, I'm looking at the first half stats here. 24 rushes, 94 yards for Kiski, averaging 3.9. You think that's improved in the third quarter?
No, not at all. They're probably around 3, if that.
Patrick Crossie will be in at quarterback, and he will keep, and he will run up the middle, and he will get the first down. And they will roll him down at the 31-yard line, so it'll be first down for your Mustangs. 27 seconds remaining in the third quarter. 16-14 lead for Kiski.
Patrick Crossie having a great game, as you guys can see. He's having some pretty good punt returns. As you can see, there was a kickoff return for a touchdown, and now he's in at the Wildcat spot, and they're going to see what he can do.
Yeah, it looks like now they're going with the hot hand as Pat is in the Wildcat spot.
Patrick Crossie, as was said, steps in the Wildcat. 5 seconds remaining in the play clock. They will get it off. And a great block. It won't help that much. It looks to be a loss of 1 on the play. So we see 2nd down 11, ball on the 30-yard line. At the end of the third quarter, Kiski will lead this one 16-14 going into the 4th. And to recap what happened, there was an 80-yard touchdown pass by Kiski. And then immediately following that, Patrick Crossie returning it all the way to the end zone. And it's still a 2-point game.
Logan, lining up in the Wildcat so much this game, with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 very different quarterbacks, we must have had on paper 4 different quarterbacks go in, whether it's between Wildcat, shotgun. What does this tell you, Logan, about the confidence that Matt Morgan has in his quarterbacks?
It seems to me that they like to use a bunch of different other quarterbacks, given their different skill sets. Corey Thomas, of course, has a very, very strong arm, as we saw him connect to Ashton on the 60-yard pass. And then we see Nick Coxon being very featured and runs up the middle as being a very tough back. And Patrick Crossie, probably one of the more athletic kids in all of Plum, being featured a lot in the Wildcat as well.
I think if I'm Matt Morgan, I can try to get the ball in Ashton Teeter or Pat Crossie's hands every play or every other play here. But the problem now is it's 2nd and 11. I see Pat still in, and Pat's calling the play. So no Corey Thomas here, guys. This is going to be a Wildcat formation. So as we are starting the 4th quarter, and for the first time this year, Plum down to 16-14, entering the 4th quarter. Nick Carlosena behind Pat. Would be surprised if he hands off to Nick also.
And he will keep it. And he will throw. And it'll be complete to tight end Zach Nolan, who will carry 2 guys. And they will keep pushing that pile. And wow, showing the strength of Zach Nolan as he carries 2 men for at least 5 yards. And that'll be a first down for the Mustangs. And that might be the first time I've seen them throw out of the Wildcat this season. And it was Patrick Crossie who threw it. And it will be first down and 10. Ball on Kiski's 45. with 11:44 remaining in the game.
Logan, I've talked, if you recall, at North Hills about the underutilization of their tight end, Zach Nolan. They haven't been hitting him too much. He's a big guy, very physical, good athlete. That's what happens when you hit your tight end up the middle. He pushes a pile, he leads a charge. Excellent play call. I hope to see more of Zach Nolan.
And Corey Thomas will be back in at quarterback. He will hand off Jaleel Bay. He will run to the outside. He will push off a tackler and try and get something back. It'll be a loss of 5 on the play. So now the ball will be spotted at the 50-yard line as we approach 11 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 2nd down and 15 coming up. Kiski leads this one 16-14 here in crunch time.
What a night for football, Logan. Bracing temperatures, wind blowing, grass field, good crowd, homecoming. Really yells out high school football.
Corey Thomas in a quarterback. He will be in a shotgun. You see Ashton Tier line up closer to us. Patrick Crossy on the opposite side of him. And there's a snap. He will throw. He will be intercepted. That is number 9. And my apologies, number 5. Jonathan Bracey will keep it going. And he will stay on his feet as he breaks another man. He gets past the 20, still on his feet to the 10. Knocked out of bounds by Zach Nolan. And a great play by Jonathan Bracey. And Kevin Brown is down on the field. He will get up. Looks to be in a little bit of pain, but it doesn't look to be anything serious. Zach Nolan saving a touchdown there. Jonathan Bracey, a huge interception as he just barreled through the offensive line and picked it off as a lineman. Now we have 10:19 remaining in the fourth quarter. Kiski will start the drive at the 5-yard line, the Mustangs' 5-yard line. They already have a 2-point lead, and now they're looking to add. So the Mustangs defense has been very good all year. We saw them extremely good last year in these situations, and now we're hoping that they can come up with another big stop. And there's the snap. Kuhn will keep it, and he will get 3 on the play, so we'll see 2nd down and 2. 10 minutes remaining in the game, and this is a huge drive for Kiski as they can look to dampen Mustangs' chances and make this game much harder if they can capitalize on a great interception here.
A devastating interception there by the Mustangs. They're going to have a defensive stand here. And if Kiski's able to score a touchdown, guys, they're going to have to score, and they're probably the only 2 possessions they're going to get for the remainder of the game.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun. He will keep, and he will run, and he will get tackled. There's a flag on the play. The ball is loose. Kiski will recover. There's a flag on the play.
That ball's still out. That's Plum ball. I can't see how that isn't Plum ball. That ball is still moving.
Looks like the flag would.
The Mustangs are saying it is their ball. Kiski looks confused.
Never in possession, so that has to be Plum ball. That is a horrific call. The ball was still moving. That is an awful call by the referees. There'll be a penalty though against the Cavaliers. Chop block. That's a biggie.
So that will push them back. Still 16-14, 9:24 remaining in the game as Kiski backs up far on the chop block penalty.
No, that's a big one too. That's at least 10, should be 15 as a ref marking it off from the spot of the foul. Also, it was about the 3-yard line, so go to the 13. It'll be 2nd and 13 at the 13, which makes it very interesting now. If Plum's able to keep Kiski out of the end zone, Plum will be down by 1 score if they try a field goal, but they'll have their work cut out for him here on the next 2 downs. We'll see what Kiski decides to do.
Chad Kuhn in a shotgun. He will throw. He has guy open to the right. And the fans wanted a pass interference call, and looks like there it is, a late flag. It looks like it's going to go against the Mustangs.
It's interference in the end zone. I don't know what the high school rule is on that, guys. In the NFL and college, I would put it to the 1. I don't know if it's an automatic first down. I do know that.
From up here, Mr. Barat, It looked like a clean play made by the defense. I didn't see a penalty. But having said that, I'm up here. Refs are down there. Perhaps they saw something that from up here we could not see.
So
I don't know why that's still second down. That confuses me. I guess I don't know if it's in the end zone, but they'll go half the distance, so they'll move it from the 13 to the 6. It almost looks like the 7. So 2nd and 6 at the 6.
9:15 remaining in the game. 16-14 lead for Kiski. And they will hand the ball off, and the Mustangs defense will make another huge stop, and that will be another loss of the play. It looks like the Mustangs defense are fired up in a huge goal line stance here. Now we will finally have a 3rd down on this drive, and they will spot him down. It looks like the 7, so it'll be a loss of 1. So we see 8:49 remaining in the 4th quarter. Kiski still leading this 16-14, looking to capitalize on a huge interception. They put them down at the 5. They are now at the 7. 3rd down finally, as we see Kuhn trot into shotgun position.
Single coverage on each of the receivers.
And they will toss it to the outside. Looks like he has some room, and he will get into the end zone for the touchdown. So 8:18 remaining in the 4th quarter, and now the Mustangs will have some work to do. As right now is a 22-14 lead.
Coach Morgan just got a personal foul called against him. He was complaining about something on the sidelines. So I believe he was saying there was a hold on the play, and I think he's accurate. That would be a 15-yard penalty, probably assessed, or if I don't know if the refs picked it up. Should be making the call right now.
Touchdown. Sideline. Penalty called against Plum.
Well, I don't know. He said sideline called against Plum. The referee pointed to the Plum sidelines, not in the.
And there's a flag on the extra point.
Wow,
one wasn't
even pointing the Plum direction. So strangely odd, that call.
Now there's a call against the
Plum.
Mustangs. So we will again see the extra point coming up. So that will move them up half the distance to the goal on the extra point. Nicholas Paschiglia, who would have missed that extra point had it not been a penalty. It actually went short. As you'll see it, almost blocked by Kevin Brown, but it will go up. It will go over the shed, over the fence, onto the street. 23-14 lead for Kiski. The Mustangs are going to need a huge drive coming up. 8:18 remaining in the 4th quarter. This is still a winnable game for your Mustangs. We saw them do a lot last year in these situations. The Mustang fans are stunned. Kiski fans enjoying their now 11-point leads.
Logan, that was a devastating drive for the Mustangs. They've stopped Kiski's offense numerous times there in the red zone, and then allowing one more play. One play finishes off a whole drive. Very disappointing for the Mustang defense. Mustang offense has to put that behind them. They must get a score. A score and a field goal wins the game. We'll see how the Mustangs offense will come out of the gates here. Time 8:18 in the 4th quarter. Looking at the clock, Mustangs offense must be conscientious of that as well, because they will have to get at least 2 more drives.
Boy, if I'm Kiski, I'd consider kicking an onside kick instead of kicking it deep.
Dangerous back.
Oh,
You see Ashton Teeter be far back. Patrick Crossy and Kevin Brown lined up to his outside. This one will go to Crossy. Crossy will catch it at the 15-yard line, and he will try and return this one again for the touchdown. He will carry a guy a couple of yards and get tackled at the 35-yard line. So a huge drive coming up for the Mustangs. 23-14 lead now for Kiski. We've seen a couple of big plays. What made this game. The interception by Kiski is what set up the touchdown there. The Mustangs had two huge touchdowns of their own, a 60-yard touchdown pass a 90-yard kick return. And then Kiski, of course, had their 80-yard touchdown pass, and that is how we got to the 23-14 point deficit for your Mustangs. 8:07 remaining in the fourth quarter now. Ball on the 35-yard line, 1st and 10. Corey Thomas in at quarterback. He will throw. He has some time, and he will be hit as he throws. He will be intercepted. That is number 9, Cameron Turner, on the interception. The Mustangs tried to go deep to Teeter, and that is a huge blow to this Mustang team. As we have 8:02 remaining in the game. Kiski now has the ball, 23-14 lead, and they will start this drive on their own 23.
Devastating interception for the Mustangs on that play. Got a little too greedy, looked down the field, tried to get a big play, big score, 8 minutes, going down 2 it would have been if they could have capitalized on that. Unfortunate for the Mustangs, the ball was way underthrown.
Chad Kuhn will keep it. He will fake the handoff again, and he will get tackled. Looks like he'll be down at the 28-yard line, so it'll be gain of 5 on the play. So we have 2nd down and 5 coming up as we're now under 8 minutes here in the game. You see some of the fans starting to clear out. This game is all but over. Still a 2-possession game for the Mustangs. A quick turnover and then a quick touchdown, or even a quick field goal, puts them right back in this game. We are approaching 7 minutes now remaining. Play clock down to 5 seconds. They will get it off, and you will hand it off and get tackled almost immediately.
And if I'm Kiski, guys, I run at this play also. Your job now is to run off as much clock as you possibly can, as we're now under 7 minutes to go. And you know what? There should be absolutely positively no urgency for the Cavaliers. So they need to just take their time, and they'll just do their thing.
Chad Kuhn in at quarterback at shotgun. We have 2 wide receivers lining up towards the Mustang side. Only 1 defensive back over there. Another one lining up closer to us. He will throw, and he has a man open. It'll be a nice catch, and they will give him the 1st down.
Wow, what a good play by Kiski. That's gonna run off an additional 2 minutes there off the clock.
There's number 9, Cameron Turner, who had the huge interception for them that started this drive. 6:28 remaining in the first quarter. The clock will now start. 23-14 lead for Kiski. They will let the play clock tick down as much as they can. Chad Kuhn in at quarterback in shotgun. And he will toss it to the outside. That is to Jonathan Gracie. It looks like there'll be a gain of 3 on the play. Under 6 minutes now. Ball will be on the 37-yard line.
Well, to Plum's advantage here, guys, they do have all 3 of their timeouts. It is 2nd and 7. They have to stop Kiski now. They cannot allow Kiski to get another 1st down. We're under 5.5, and they're going to need at least 1 quick score, and they're going to have to stop Kiski again. And Kiski's just going to run the ball. And you know this is going to be a run now on 2nd down, which will take the clock to under 5 minutes left to go in the game.
23-14. He will toss it to the outside, and he will get some room. It looks like he'll be knocked out of bounds.
Yes, he will, which is, should have fallen down before he went out of bounds, but it would be probably 3rd and 2, maybe 3.
Smart offensive play calling all night by Kiski's coaching staff. I really have to compliment them on the play calls that they've made. That on that 3rd down, 2nd down, or 3rd down, very risky passing the ball. Got the 1st down there, like Mr. Barat said. Another 2 minutes off the clock. Mustangs need a big stop here. 3rd and 2.
5:18 remaining in the game. Chad Kuhn will hand the ball up. He'll go up the middle, and he will fight his way.
That's another first down.
Yes, they will give him the first down. So that will take even more time off the clock. 23-14.
Great play calling, Nolan. I agree with you by the Cavaliers. And actually, he got it by the bull ball. They don't even have to bring it out.
Looks like he might be a tad short here.
No, he hasn't. He just has to get to the 30. He just has to get to the 44. I think he's at the 44.5. So it'll be a first down Cavaliers. The student body will erupt. And the Cavaliers have played great football tonight, guys. Plum with some mistakes. And the Cavaliers are making the Mustangs pay. That's another first down. And now backs up against the wall. Might be to the point where they have to create a turnover.
23-14, two-possession game. Kiski has the lead. 5:07 is where this play started. The clock will, of course, tick under 5 minutes now. 1st and 10, ball on the 44 for Kiski. Chad Kuhn in shotgun. He will likely hand it off here. And he will. There'll be a run up the middle. Here's Gant. There's a flag on the play. The ball gets to the 50-yard line. 4:46 remaining now in the game, as we will see.
That penalty there was created by Matt Morgan. He has really been all over the side referee. I've watched him this whole entire drive, and you can see him in the background. He's right by the yard marker, and he has been talking to the ref. I'm sure the side judge is warning him right now. Enough's enough. He got the call. So that will move Kiski back. Clock will stop. It's a 5-yard penalty. So it'll be 1st and 15, but unfortunately the clock is against Plum. The rain is starting to fall harder now as we are at 4:44 and a running clock. 1st and 15 for the Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers tonight with a 23-14 lead. And they're just taking, as any of us would, their good old time coming to the line of scrimmage. We're down to 8 seconds on the shot clock, on the game clock, excuse me.
Chad Kuhn in. He will hand the ball off immediately. He will get tackled behind the line. That was Gant again.
Plum trying to strip that ball out, guys. And if Plum's able to stop him, Plum will get the ball back, but I think now as we're under 4 minutes to go here in the game, Plum has put themselves in a position where if they're going to score, they have to do an onside kick.
Crazier things have happened in football. We're under 4 minutes now.
Sure.
The Mustangs still aren't out of this game. 23-14 lead for Kiski. 2nd down and 15. Ball on the 39-yard line.
Plum might want to
5 seconds
using one of their timeouts after this run, guys.
And there's the run, and he will, looks like he will get the 5 yards back. That was Gant again.
That's exactly what Coach Morgan does. Plum uses their first timeout with 3:28 left to go. 23-14 in favor of the Cavaliers. And this is a must stop for the Mustangs. It is 3rd and 10. Kiski gets a first down here. That will probably come close to essentially wrapping up the game. If Plum's able to stop them, it would behoove Kiski just to kick the ball out of bounds 20 yards and let Plum's offense come on the field. They cannot kick a ball deep to Pat Crossy or Ashton Teeter, but we will wait and see.
Starting as a steady mist, this rain has certainly escalated. Logan, do you think it's going to have an effect on the last 3 minutes and 28 seconds of this game?
It should. As Mr. Barat mentioned earlier, if the Mustangs do get the ball back, they will have to pass. And when it's raining like this, it is tougher to throw the ball and even catch the ball. Plus, with how cold it is and how windy it is, it will be very tough for the Mustangs to drive down the field. It is still doable. The Mustangs will need a big play. As the weather gets even rougher here, does not faze the Kiski student section, who are up and jumping. The Mustang faithful still staying here in the rain despite the bleak circumstances. They are still expecting a Mustang win. Needing a miracle here, but it can happen. Crazier things have happened. 3:28 remaining in the fourth quarter. We're waiting for the referee to put the ball down.
Referee looks like he's trying to keep the ball relatively dry.
He has it actually. Is he holding it, guys?
Looks like he's got it wrapped up in a towel, almost like a baby, Mr. Brown.
I don't know what they're waiting for. I guess the referee's looking up here at the right underneath us. We are on top of the press box tonight, and so
looks like incorrect time on the clock. The clock has just changed.
Yeah, now there's 3:31. So
confusion here with the clock.
I think, guys, if Kiski gets a first down, essentially the game could be over. This is a very interesting play call. Me personally, I think I'd play it close to the vest, run, make Plum use a timeout, or run off an additional 25 seconds, but their play calls have been nothing but predictable. They've kept Plum off tilter all game. This could very much be a pass.
Certainly.
Chad Kuhn in shotgun. 3:31 remaining. He will hand it off. It will go up the middle, and he will get maybe a yard. So the Mustangs will get the ball back
as they take their second timeout of the game. They have one timeout left with 3:26 remaining. That's going to lead to fourth down, and I don't know, what do you think, Logan? Is the Cavaliers punter, is he going to try to bomb this one to Crossy or Teeter, or is he going to try to keep it short?
It looks like we saw early in the game when he tried to kick it out of bounds. I expect him to do something similar, as you do not want to put it into Crossy or Teeter's hands. I expect Crossy to be back there. He returned the kick earlier, and he's been the main guy returning punts, so that we have seen Teeter back there is the far guy back returning kicks. I do not expect them to want to put the ball in Crossy's hands, as if this ball gets returned for a touchdown, then the Mustangs' chances look a lot better than they do right now.
Logan, I do have to remind you that the Mustangs do have lots of weapons on their offense, as we saw a 60-yard touchdown by Ashton Teeter in the first half. The Mustangs are not out of this game at 3 minutes and 26 seconds. They've dug themselves a very deep hole. Hopefully they can get a touchdown, maybe a field goal, go for the onside kick, recovery. Like you said, it's a long shot, but crazier things have happened in this game of football.
In fact, we've seen a lot of crazy things happen in this exact game. Patrick Crossy back to return. And there's a bunch of flags on the play.
Kiski's pointing towards Plum for offsides, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, that will move it only up 5 yards if it happens again. They're moving it back to 5, so it's a legal procedure against Cavaliers. False start. So that moves it back 5. Patrick Crossy, the only one back. Ashton Teeter wide left over here. Plum looking maybe for a block.
And the kick will get off, and it will go to the outside. It looks like it will be out as it bounces off the concession stand roof, and it even might have went into a school bus that is parked down there for the marching band, as the door was wide open, and that's what it looked like from up here.
That ball, I don't know if I think it's at the 50.
Mr. Broad, I'm not an athlete. I think I could have thrown the ball farther.
Yeah. We agree with the call. We said that there's no way you can kick it to Patrick Crossy. So the Kiski coaches told the punter, get the ball, kick it out of bounds immediately, no matter what. Now, granted, the net on that was what? 16 yards.
Yeah.
So Plum has to score, guys. They got to score quick. It's going to have to be a deep pass or a deep out over the middle. You see Jason Huebner now in wide left. Ashton Teeter's in the slot along with Patrick Crossy. Plum going 4 wide.
And they will do a Hail Mary as Corey Thomas looks to throw. He will throw over the head of Patrick Crossy.
He slipped.
So it'll be 3:13 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Mustangs trailing by 11, 23-14 your score. It's been a day of big plays. So another one here will not be uncommon. There's a 60-yard touchdown by the Mustangs. 2 huge interceptions by Kiski. 80-yard touchdown by Kiski. 90-yard kick return. And the Mustangs have put up 14 points without being in the red zone today. Corey Thomas, he will have some time. He will get grabbed. The towel of him will fall off and he will get tackled. Look to be number 78.
Mustangs needing more
sack.
urgency here.
That was Dylan McGill, one of their starting tackles.
Need to hurry up and get to the snap. We got double twins again.
Weird. Looks like
Timeout called on Kiski. That gives Plum a break.
Logan, I was watching the receivers warming up before the game. I saw Ashton Teeter running routes down the field, making one-handed catches. He's obviously capable of making big plays, even in the rain. You have to think, if he's open, you're going to want to target him. But at the same time, you can't be selective as to which wide receiver you throw. You see someone open, you gun it. You hope for the best. Mustangs, very possible getting a touchdown on a Hail Mary here. Corey Thomas, big arm, lots of speed on our wide receivers. We've been blowing past the secondary all game thus far. Don't be surprised if that happens again. Let's just hope Corey can target the Mustangs, hit him in the hands, hit him running, don't throw the ball short, and that's what we will be looking for.
The only problem with that, though, Nolan, is as you can see now, I don't know if Dylan has it on the camera, but those defensive backs are 10, 15 yards back because they're expecting the same thing.
Corey Thomas was starting shotgun. He would throw it and be almost intercepted. His intended receiver was Ashton Teeter, so we have 4th down and 15. Ball on the Mustangs 44. Huge play coming up, 2 minutes, 38 seconds. As Kiski could come out with a victory. This play is huge to the game, as it could put the Mustangs' hopes down to a very, very small number. 2 minutes 38, 23-14. Kiski leads. It's been a game of big plays. The Mustangs are hoping for another one. We see 3 wide receivers lining up to the other side. Corey Thomas will throw, and he will be.
Oh, that's interference.
It looks like pass interference.
He was so hit before the ball. That's not even close.
The Mustang fans want that. It looks like pass interference. They will not give it to him. We see some of the stadium lights start to turn off, and they will not get the pass interference call, although we up here in the box believe that it should have been. The Kiski student section is celebrating. The Mustang student section is screaming for a flag. It did not come, and now Kiski will have the ball at their own 44-yard line. 2:32 remaining in the game. 23-14, they lead it. And they have played a great game today, as we see Kiski student section start to do a chant made famous by U.S. men's soccer and then by Plum around here, especially in Whitfield.
They are loud, they are in it. They are on the opposite side of the field, basically, as we are. You can probably hear them over the headsets. Very exciting homecoming win for them.
And there was a drop snap. Kiski will recover.
Just goes to show you, in these conditions, Logan, nothing's impossible.
As we've been saying, crazier things have happened. There'll be a timeout on the Mustangs. That is their last timeout. 2:25 is where the clock will stop.
Some of the fans starting to leave now. Weather is playing a big factor. As we had mentioned, it's cold, it's rainy, it's windy. It is an October night for sure, Logan.
Last year we saw a much different game between these two teams, as Plum would win 65-0. Huge games running on that one.
And this is definitely a revenge game for the Cavaliers, and they came ready to play tonight, guys. And you know, we talked about it on in school today, and you know, we thought, boy, you know, we kind of expected Plum to hit the mercy rule and be out of here, and You know, you have to give credit where credit's due. The Cavaliers had a great game plan tonight. They kept Plum off balance, and they've run the ball. Not as successful in the second half, but with a little
It looks like
trickery.
they dropped it. It looks like the Mustangs are saying they have the ball. Mustangs are saying they have the ball.
Morgan flailing his arms on the sideline.
We do not see a signal from the referee. It looks like they will roll him down. The Mustangs thought they had a fumble. As we now get under 2 minutes remaining in the game. Mr. Broad talked about it being a revenge game. And if you live around these two parts, you would know that to be true. As there's been a lot of talk between these two teams in this coming week. So much that it got to the point where Kiski had an assembly not to talk to the Mustangs.
Just goes to show you, Logan, high school football student sections, very reliable, play a big part in the game and the emotions of the players.
And Kuhn will keep it. He will get tackled about the 43-yard line. 1:24 now on the clock.
Plum with no timeouts, guys. They will be able to. Kiski will probably take potentially a delay game penalty here. It's a running clock. Clock stops, or excuse me, the 25-second shot clock starts. We're down now to under a minute, 15 seconds. It wouldn't be surprised if Kiski just lets it roll off, which every right they can, and they can take it down to about the 44-second mark, it looks like, before they punt the ball to the Mustangs.
Mr. Broad, you can call me crazy or you can call me an optimist, but this game is not over quite yet. Delay of game penalty called. Mustangs, Hail Mary, get the ball. Chapla got a very, very strong foot. It's not looking too good for the Mustangs right now, but the nail is not in the coffin until the game is over, Mr. Barat.
No, you're absolutely right, Nolan. What we need to have happen here, I mean, maybe Kiski will be dumb enough to kick the ball to Pat Crossy. I can see the punter just drilling it out of bounds. Plum would have to score in 1 or 2 plays, and with very little time left, try an onside kick and try another Hail Mary, or try Jake Chapla for a long field goal. So we've seen stranger things that have happened. So
my mind goes to a game, Hempfield and Norwin, where Hempfield won on a 2-point conversion at the end after being down by a lot, and that one will go out of bounds. Like we've been saying, they will not kick to Pat Crossy, especially after he returned that for a touchdown. 37.8 is the exact time remaining on the clock.
What Corey Thomas has to do here is, I mean, there's no time. So someone will be open across the middle. He should just send Ashton Teeter and whoever else deep. If the middle receiver's open, you hit him. If not, you just hoist it up and you hope for the best.
Saying crazy things have happened before in this football game quite a bit. Really shows what a football game this is for the Mustangs. Not looking too good right now. Secondary back for Kiski, obviously expecting what is to come.
Corey Thomas in shotgun. They, of course, will throw. They will throw to Kevin Brown. And Kevin Brown will get tackled immediately at the 50-yard line. The clock will start ticking as we get to 30 seconds. Corey Thomas trying to get everybody to the line as quickly as possible. The ref will set the ball. 24 seconds remaining now. Now we're under 20 seconds, and they will spike the ball at 19 seconds exactly. Ball's on the 50-yard line, so we see 3rd down and 3. They need a huge play here, as if they do not get it here, it looks like it will be over for the Mustangs. 23-14. You hear the Kiski fans get up and cheer on their team.
We are shaking up here in the press box.
Corey Thomas in shotgun. 4 wide receivers out. Kevin Brown back to block. He will throw. He will complete to Ash Teeter. Will get out of bounds immediately. 14 seconds at the clock. So the ball will be at the 39-yard line. 1st down here. 1st down and 10. 23-14. Kiski leads it with 14 seconds left. Kiski student section is loud over in their baseball bleachers. This is Davis Field. It used to be a minor league baseball stadium for the Philadelphia Phillies. Corey Thomas in shotgun. He will throw. His time ticks away. He looks to find the man. He will scramble to try and buy some time, and he will run, and he will get the first down, but he will get tackled, and that will be the ball game.
No, there's still 1 second left.
He said we'll stop it with 1 second.
Kiski fans storming the
Kiski
field.
fans already stormed the field. With 1 second remaining, that will be a penalty.
I'll tell you what, Logan, one thing you can say about Plum student section is we keep our own. We do not storm the field. They're excited, obviously. Energy's big. They're getting back into their stands. But our faculty, our staff, making sure that that's something Plum definitely does not do.
So Plum it looks like Plum will move to 3-1 in conference on the year. Their incredible start to the season looks like will not be continued. 4-0 start. To put that into context, this is the first time since 2001 that has happened for the Mustangs. So do not feel upset about this season after this game. As Corey Thomas gets sacked, that will officially be the end of the game, as now we will see the student section storm the field. All-time records, Kiski will move to 287, 248, and 2, as Plum will move to 315, 383, and 27 all-time. We mentioned they will be 3-1 in conference now, 4-1 overall, tied with third place now with McKee Sports. Kiski will improve to 3-1. They also are tied with the Mustangs and McKee Sport, as this season just got tougher for the Mustangs, as they will now have to win against McKee Sport, against Penn Trafford's, as we see 23-14 victory. Guys, your thoughts on the game?
It's going to be a long bus ride home, hard practice on Monday. I can tell you that much, Logan. What I will say, though, is this is, in every single aspect, a game that we, all four of us up here, did not see coming. What are the points that we said offense for Plum needs to get going? It was the defense, ultimately. Offense couldn't quite get into gear, but the coaching on the offensive side for both teams, especially Kiski, has really been the pivotal aspect of this game. Kiski coaching smart, playing smart. They certainly won this chess game. I give credit where credit is due. Kiski coaching did well. Mustangs stopped the run quite a bit, but at the end of the day, that is what killed them, you know?
I think that the Mustangs definitely should have passed more. Corey Thomas was kind of strong back in the pocket, but I really do think completions to Teeter or Crossy or Hubner or any of our strong sets of wide receivers definitely could have changed his game. I also do believe that the Mustang defense really needed to know what was coming from the Cavaliers. They went with the inside game, they went with the outside game. The Mustangs just had to stay consistent. Whenever the outside game was ran, they were really strong on the inside, and vice versa for that. I just really do believe that we need to get our coverage down and that we just need to pass the ball more.
Mr. Barat?
Well, like you guys said, we didn't see any of this coming, and we took for granted this team. I don't know if any of the football players did, but Plum did not play well tonight. They played well in spurts. Their offense struggled, and for the first time, their defense, which was usually their strong suit, struggled a little bit also. So back to the drawing board. Plum has Connellsville in the home section game next week, and then they hit which we talked about all year, guys. They hit the two big ones after that, at the McKee Sport Tigers and home to the Penn Trafford Warriors. So Plum has to get back on track with the section game next week against Connellsville. So hopefully they will.
So Matt Morgan, who likes to say that the season is broken down to thirds, they will be 1-1 in this third of the season. To recap what has happened, there was the safety at the beginning of the game, which put Kiski up 2-0. They then got a huge touchdown. The Mustangs would later capitalize on a 60-yard touchdown. Kiski will again score before the Mustangs would put themselves right back in the game to make it 16-14 on the kick return by Patrick Crossy, and then Kiski will get that huge interception to set them up for the touchdown that put this game at 23-14 and out of reach for the Mustangs. So here at Davis Field, I'm Logan Carney. Joining again with me today was Nolan Carney, Nino Fischetti, Dylan Fantone, and the real deal himself, Mr. Rick Barat. We will see you next week against Connersville. Good night, everyone.